Today we're going to set up the Spec system. The Spec system was added by Christopher, and we're going to add Kelly's user-friendly version. We'll start the client-side DOM. We're going to make a class called B GUI Node Collection Interface Window. This will be of type Art GUI Control. It's the node collection for the Spec editor. We're going to add a parent class underscore GUI Node Collection Interface Window. It will have two fields added to it. These fields have been already created. They will be NPE fields and NPE node. Next, we will click Open Script, and we will create a blank script, and there we will add our methods in. We can then close the DOM. We'll start with on method HE on control build. So when the GUI is created, this will automatically happen. We'll start with variable buttons equals find GUI control by name. Start with me, which is this class, and it will look for button spacer. From there, we will insert those buttons to me children at me get client area parent find child position. Next, we'll add the mouse wheel. Here we have wheel equals args wheel delta divided by 120. Wheel delta comes in as a value. It will be either plus or minus. We'll start with client as a node ref of class GUI scrollable panel equals me get client area. If the client is equals none, we'll just return out of here. Otherwise, we'll be checking the client scrolls by. We'll set to 10, and if the wheel is negative, we will set the Y offset with wheel plus 50, or if it's positive, we will set the client offset Y with wheel minus 50. Next, we'll have our on button mouse click. Here we say as if button equals the name, and this value is OK underscore update node. It will print line some updating the node to let us know what's happening. Our variable node will be set to me get GUI node collection interface window node. And for each child in the get me get client area children, it will print out the child name, letting us know which one it's on. And if it has a method child on GUI control editor submit, it will then print out that it has that value, and then call that value child on GUI submit with the node that we created here. Next, we have me property editor updated. If the parent does not equal none, and for our specific here, since we don't want this GUI to close, we're going to say that if substring B root parent name 1 3 does not equal NPC, we're going to destroy only the parent. Otherwise, we'll destroy the whole GUI here. Now, if it's the cancel update node, we'll try to use the same if statement and same destroy statements, and it will basically skip out instead of updating our values. Next, we have the property editor updated. The Oracle, we'll look for Spec Oracle Utils system node, get Spec Oracle by class, and it will look for me SOPE type. Now, if Oracle equals none, it will throw a script error and tell us that it wasn't able to find it. Then we set up spec as a node ref equals me and PE node. Assert that the spec does not equal none. If it does, it will print the message that it lost the data. We'll then set up our out as a class remote call server out. ToScript will be underscore spec oracle utils class method. This is on the server side. Function being called will be got edited spec. Fail script will be debug utils. Fail functions server RMC fail. The args will be type, me, SOPE type, and our args will be Marshall, spec, Marshall spec. Now, where spec is kind of a prototype data, we're going to add in the args. Prototype name will be spec prototype name, and the out args for proto description will equal spec prototype description. Then we will call remote call server out, which calls this script on the server with this function. Our next is setting up a dummy method here, so just to make sure it exists. This method on GUI node property editor submit, and we'll add a node as a node ref. Next we have method set spec oracle property editor type. That will be type as a string. We will store that in me, SOPE, type equals type. Next we have method get spec oracle property editor type. And this will be coming as a string, and it will return the value me, SOPE type. Next we have set spec oracle property editor parent, and this will have parent S9D coming in, and we will store that in me, SOPE parent GUI equals that parent. Next is method get spec oracle property editor parent S9D. So these are basically the getters and setters. It will return me, SOPE parent GUI ID. Next we have a bigger method, set node collection interface window node. Now the node as a node ref comes in, we'll then save that to me and PE node equals node. We will get all the leaf classes on that node. Classes equals get classes on node with the node coming in. Set up our script as a script ref, and the client area is node ref of class GUI scrollable panel. Me get client area. For each val in this class list, we will set the script equals that value coming in plus class methods. And we'll then check that. We set up GUI as a node ref of class control, GUI control. Say if the script doesn't equal none, that script will exist, and then we can check to see if it has a function using that script in the build spec editor panel. Then, if it does, we will say GUI equals script, whichever script that is, and it will build the spec editor panel with that node that came in. Now, if the GUI equals none, we'll just continue over. If it equals a value, we'll add that to our client area children. Else, if the script is not equal to none, we will print no function in this script. Else, this script has no class methods, probably just a decorator. Near the bottom here, we'll set the size, the size x. If it equals 0, we'll set it to 200. And if it equals y value equals 0, we'll set that to 200 also. These are checking to see that if it's blanked out and squished on the screen, we're going to give it a minimum value here so we can see it. Next, we'll have get node collection interface window node as a node ref, and that will return me and PE node. Method set node collection interface status message, and we'll have an incoming message as a string. Now what it do is get label, get the node status label, and we'll point to it, which is this here, and it will set that message in the label and then set our size, that GUI label text size, to that value so it's not too big or too little. Next, we have Get GUI Collection Interface Status Label, and this returns as a GUI label for our message here, and it's Find GUI Control with me, button spacer, status message. And then we can compile and submit that script. Okay, we can close that script up, and we're going to get to the DOM again. We're going to create some smaller classes. That was one of our main classes that has performed the functions in the background of the individual specs. So we'll open the client DOM again. And we'll create a B hotspot GUI. This will be a menu that will pop up and allow you to change specs in there. Here is class B hotspot GUI. This is type GUI control. It's the new hotspot menu. It will recreate itself from the original hotspot menu. Therefore, we give it a parent class as underscore hotspot GUI. It will be the base GUI that is created, and we're going to recreate that one, adding ours new additions to it. Next, we will create B hotspot. This is the data or the script that will run that. Here we just have the archetype data, and we will open script for it. It's a small script used by the hotspot, and it will override the customization. So it will call EHE build hotspot GUI, which is an override for the original hotspot GUI that is created. Here we start with GUI's node ref of GUI control, and we'll say GUI equals create node for prototype B hotspot GUI. It's our GUI that's being made. GUI build equals true, and we'll return that GUI to say that this is now our new GUI that we're going to use. Next, we're going to create B Spec Oracle Utils, and this is archetype data, and these will be our specs. Won't have any fields or parent. Then we click Open Script, and we will add in 3 methods to it. First one is HE get all spec oracles, and this will have oracles references a list of IDs and return a Boolean value. This method will be called to retrieve all of the oracles of which the spec system should be aware. So it tells you every spec that should be in the system that you have added. The default GUIs and a variety of utility functions depend on your oracle being included in this list. So here we'll add back me, get spec oracle util to oracles, this list up here. And this is created in the next method. And we'll return true that we did add some values. So for method for getting the spec editor pointer, and this is for the NPCs, which is what we're going to start with. We're going to get NPC spec oracle, and it will return as a node ref class NPC spec oracle. Value returned will be the spec oracle utils system node, get spec oracle by class, NPC spec oracle. This is, we'll find our list and check it. Next we will verify that it's actually an oracle type. So our third method is method HE get spec oracle by class. It's another override. Here it has an oracle class as a string, spec oracle, which will reference a node ref of the class spec oracle, returning a Boolean value. Here we assert that that class exists, the oracle class that's coming in And if it does, it will fall through. If not, it will give us this message, the invalid class name. Oracles as a list of node ref of the class spec oracle will equal spec oracle utils system node get known spec oracles. This is one of the functions in the spec oracle utils. First we'll start with otest as a node ref, and for each O in the oracles being the list, we'll set otest or node ref to that value, and then say when to lower oracle class, the value coming in. So we're going to set it all in lowercase letters, as here. The first one we'll check is our NPC spec oracle, where otest is kind of an NPC spec oracle. We make sure it's that right class that we want, and then if it is, it will set spec oracle equal to otest. We'll break out of the loop, and it will pop to the end. If spec oracle does not equal none, we will return true. So we do have a good value for that class. Otherwise, it will just fall through and return false. We can then compile and submit the script. Next, we're going to create a GUI file, so we can close those. We're going to create, which is the far left, GUI, B underscore hotspot GUI. Here we'll click OK. We have created this, so we're going to just open it. We will look for the hotspot. This is the GUI that was created. Here it is we're going to have create control type space inherit from equals single quote underscore hotspot GUI single quote. So we're going to inherit from the parent here. Then we're going to set type equal to B hotspot GUI or the class that we're making. The description will equal hotspot for our game. Next we'll have the tree path equal to game specific / utilities interface. Then we'll have name equals hotspot GUI. This basically takes off the values we've added at the beginning, so any of our names will all be the same. Here, for each of these values, we'll have a space between them, the name of the value, then we'll have equals, and inside single quotes will be our actual value that we're going to make. Now it's very important to put these right brackets are greater than on that side and less than on this side. This says the beginning, and the other side will say the end of that statement. Second line, we will have set name equals scrollable dot client area dot underscore tab parent dot client side dot tools dot client area dot spec oracle dot client area and the end. Now this is the base setup. Down here we will have / set. That means it's ending the value. And down here it will be / create control type. Those 4 lines are the basic for the hotspot GUI. The next 3 lines, or these middle 3, are the values that we're going to replicate each time we're adding a new spec into the system. This part will be underscore collapsible category item, and it will have a name equal to NPC spec oracle, a glom class equal to hotspot item, a underscore hotspot item checkable will equal true. Our script will equal the underscore spec Oracle utils class method, and the insert before, which positions it on your hotspot, will be right before the game cursor spec Oracle. This one here is in double quotes. Next, we have set the name value equal to text. Attribute will equal text. Value inside quotes here. Now this part needs to underscore the bracket, U bracket. And then our NPC spec Oracle, or be the words we see on the screen under GUI. And then we'll have bracket, end bracket. And then we have the end for that line, which means the end of the text is set here. Now, on this one, we'll have the end marker for the collapsible category item. And those are our 3 lines that will be copied each time we create a new spec. Next, we'll close this up. And we can close this up. And we're going to jump to the game part here, and we'll show you how to bring up that GUI. Okay, in the game area here, you should be able to press the F5 key, the function 5. That will bring this menu up. If it does not pop up, you can hit the right Control and Shift keys, and then click in this corner here. So we'll show that part. That will also bring up this menu if the F5 is not functioning at that time. Next, we're going to look for the Tools tab, and under that, we're going to look for the System Node Configuration GUI, and we will click that one. That will bring up this next GUI. Here, this is a panel to override or add in extra scripts so they will be looked at. Here we're going to go to the client side, and the system we're going to look for will be the hotspot down here. We'll click the hotspot, and it will show up on our current classes. Here we're going to add this B hotspot. So in this line right here, we'll type in B underscore hotspot. Then we will click add, and you won't see it right away, but you just need to click server, client, and go to that hotspot again, and it will show up that time. Okay, then we can click this panel closed, and the next part we're going to make is a script that I follow in order to create each of the individual spec systems. So go to the script, and on the server side we're going to create a file called readme underscore spec. This is just a comment, and each comment will explain how the scripts are set up. First, we'll create 2 classes on the server side and copy them to the client side. We're going to start with an example of the NPC. So we're going to make the NPC spec system. And here it will be NPCs. So we'll start with NPC spec, create that class. The type will be set to data. NPC spec Oracle. Type is also data. Those are then copied to the client side. On the client side, we will add the parent to NPC spec base spec. And on the client side, it'll add 3 parents to NPC Spec Oracle. This will be collection, ordered set, obs, subject, and Spec Oracle. On the server side, we will add a parent to NPC Spec, base Spec, and parent to the NPC Spec Oracle, just Spec Oracle. So the difference is these 2 extra values on the client side. Next, we'll have the GUIs. So we're going to create 2 classes for the client side. NPC Spec Editor GUI. This is the main GUI that will hold the panels inside of it, and it will be a type GUI control. Second class is NPC Spec Editor Main Panel. That's where we're going to be making most of the changes on it. It is also type GUI control. To these, we will add a parent. So for the NPC Spec Editor GUI, we're going to add the parent B underscore GUI node collection interface window. And the parent for the Spec Editor Main Panel is going to be GUI panel. Next, we'll add a field to the NPC Spec Editor GUI, the NP node. This will keep track of which spec we're talking about when we're on the main panel. It's an easier reference point. Next, we create the scripts. On the NPC Spec server side, we will click Open Script, and then rather than selecting blank, we're going to select the template base spec in the upper right corner here. Once we select that, we will then click OK, and it will add in a base spec template. We'll do this for the others here also. The NPC Spec Oracle will have the Spec Oracle template. On the client side is very similar. We'll have the templates base spec for the NPC Spec and the template Spec Oracle for the NPC Spec Oracle. Next, we're going to fix the values that are inside these scripts. So in each script, we're going to change the word default to your spec name NPC. So on the server side, wherever we see default, we're going to replace with NPC. It will say default spec. We're going to put NPC spec. There's one place on the server side for this script. On the NPC Spec Oracle server side, there are 4 places we will replace. On the client side, there are 2 in the NPC Spec and 4 in the NPC Spec Oracle. So it will then point at our specs instead of the default from the templates. Next, we will add in the fields. These will be added to the base spec, this NPC spec, both client side and server side. So they won't be added to the Spec Oracle, just the spec. They are display description and display name. They're both going to get them for the base script. The server side is what saves the value for each of these, and the client side is where we set that value. Now, in our utils, would be Spec Oracle utils. On the client side utils, we're going to add in your spec at 3 places, where we showed you those 3 places for our NPC spec. We've already added those in. Next, we're going to register our prototype. So we're going to create a server-side prototype based on your Spec Oracle in the console window. So this will be NPC Spec Oracle. Example command, I'm going to change NPC when you want to create yours of a different spec. So here we get CP / CPFC NPC Spec Oracle, comma, space NPC Spec Oracle, semicolon, space description equals, in quotes, the NPC Spec Oracle. This is what will show when you click on the Spec Oracle in the list. That will show that part. Okay, then after that's mostly done, we will add, to make it show up in the list, we'll add into the XML file the B hotspot GUI XML, copy the 3 lines of the spec info, 3 lines I described, and paste those just below compile and submit. We'll go through this here in the utils. These are client-side values, Spec Oracle utils. Here's our 3 things we're going to add in. The add back, our list here. We're going to create this method for each spec that we create. And we're going to add in our value here. So if they're there, we're going to add in one for each class. Next, down here, to make our hotspot GUI, we're going to add the 3 lines of spec info. That will be in the GUI and under hotspot. These are the 3 lines we will add in to each to make another spec. So that is on our list here. We'll copy, paste, and then change for each one. Now, after logging in, you hit the F5 and you should see the GUI pop up. If not, you have the Control Shift to make it pop up. And this, then click on the tab, the Commands tab, and rebuild the hotspot interface. This will add the changes on the Tools tab under the Spec Oracles. I'll show you that in a second. So in game, on our tab here, we'll look at the commands, and after we have all that added in, we will click Rebuild Hotspot Interface. What that does is recreate that hotspot with our added value in, so that when we open it again, we will see the NPC Spec Oracle in here. And that concludes our setup for the Spec Oracles.